Hi guys, welcome back to Up the Profits. I thought I'd do a quick update today, just after the drop we've seen, just to follow on from yesterday's update. Which yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do comment any improvements I can make. I'm trying to do my best with how clear I can sort of show my thoughts and opinions on the charts for you. So continuing from yesterday, so the play was to get to 80,000 quite simply. Was to reclaim the 74.9 sort of region. So I sort of said, like, keep it simple. You've got the cluster over here, so you want to reclaim this level. So as I was saying, as soon as we get this sort of reclaim, stop loss below, you're gonna start filling in the range here to then take out the 80,000. Unfortunately, we failed to do that. So if you don't go up, obviously price has to come down. So what we're finding ourselves doing now, we're back in the range. So I did say again yesterday, if you want to check the video from yesterday, if we start to close back below the 73.7 region, it's going to continue back into the range, and we've certainly started doing that. So let me have a look. So you want to sort of ask yourself where we're going to potentially stop on this drop down. So I've got a few levels marked. So 78,500 is the naked point of control. A little bit too wide on the. So these are the levels I marked out. So the naked point of controls, they do act as nice sort of magnets for price action. I do believe we're going to take out the 68,500 region soon. So if you didn't get into the short, so where would you sort of look to build that? So we may continue straight down. We're finding some support here, purely because there's an order block, sort of this sort of region. So for an inter bounce, it makes sense. We've completely come through here. We've filled the FVG here, the fair value gap. So in terms of where I see a bounce next, I mean, you sort of follow it down. So if we're going to drop, where's the floor? Where's the bounce region? And the next level hits me straight in the face is the 79,000. So again, it's pretty much on that. So we may wick into the naked point of control here, but again, it's just that whole OB, that order block here. And again, I look for the 618 Fibonacci retracement to hit. Perfect confluence there. So 69,000 to me is going to be the sort of bounce point. So in terms of longs, we probably will see something like this play out today. So if we do continue down, expect something like to fill in that gap, fill in the naked point of control, see some sort of reversal up. If we are to continue down, the scenario I sort of showed a couple of days back, where we do see one more drop before the massive sort of pump. So I said we were missing that fifth wave down. This could be the start of that fifth wave. So basically, if we are to continue down, I want to see an impulse. It's a 5-wave structure. So wave 3 tends to be the most aggressive. So we're going to see something like this. So 1, 2, 3 here. Again, 3 could extend down to here. 4 is a little bounce and then just continue down. If we do get a bounce here, we may see something like this. This resistance zone here. So it's going to be something like. Again, these are just scalps. You want to get into a swing trade ideally. If you did miss the drop down here, don't FOMO. It could bounce here. You don't know what's going to happen. Excuse me. So yeah, so I had to predict what's going to happen today. So the most likely scenario, we keep coming down here to the 69, sort of 68, 5 sort of region. Bounce up. The trend is bearish, so we could see again this block filled here. So 70,300. So your short position would be a rejection around the 70,300 and the continuation down to 65 62 and then down to 58 sort of mark. If we zoom out, again, levels already marked out for you. So another drop down, again, I've said before, weekly zones, super important to look at. The naked point of control is super important again. So I've been looking for this block here to sort of wick down to. So you're going to see a cascade. Again, this is worst case scenario. If we find support, it's going to continue up for that next wave, but quite a harsh reduction today. So I've been looking for move down worst case to the 53,000, 54,000. If we do get that, I mean, it's going to be a very nice few months. So I would prefer to see this play. So you'd be getting a very nice sort of summer period. You get the 5 wave down. With Elliott wave, once you get a 5 wave complete, after that you do get a corrective wave. So the B wave, you'd be looking potentially pushes up to the 90,000, 100,000. Again, it's going to be wherever we stop down here. You want to find the 618 Fibonacci retracements. If we do drop down to 53, we'll be looking for moves up to the weekly sort of levels at 90,000. So yeah, as strange as it sounds, I'd rather get that dip now, get it over and done with, and then we've got a very nice few months to play off. I'll go through some more. So Ethereum, it's going to be a similar thing. I mean, it's a bearish engulfing candle. It's a very bearish closure. If we close the daily down, in the range high, you're looking at 2,130. So if we zoom in to get a clearer picture. So in terms of a bounce area, you can be looking about, yeah, it's going to be, so we could, so don't long now, just wait, don't try and catch it, wait for that first sort of initial bounce and just see the reaction from the bulls. So we get a wick down to 2,130, you would expect something like this to form, and then you can sort of see whether we continue higher up to, you know, the higher targets of 2,600, or do we continue down to the new low. If we fail to bounce, you can then look to short. If we lose the range high, we retest it, retest the 2,130, 2,150, and then short down to the lows. 1,800. Next sort of area of importance for me, you're looking at 1,700. Reason being, order block here. So you drag it across. It's simple, you know, there's no indicators here, it's just pure technical analysis. You don't need fancy indicators for this, guys, and I'll teach you that, you know, as we go. So yeah, all my, again, I've got a paid group you can look into, which will have all my updates daily. I've got a free group if you're happy to use Weeks, which is my partners. Again, do your research on the exchange, make sure you're happy. I've used them for numerous years myself. But I run a free group which I post a lot of my trades, my daily thoughts and updates, so you don't have to. I'll do the analysis for you. I'll show you my opinions daily and what I think will happen, and I like to sort of do low risk, high reward, so my stop losses are tight. Sometimes too tight, but the winners are fantastic. We had, I'll show you in a minute actually, but in terms of Ethereum, sort of going off topic, I've been looking for a move down to the 1,700s mark. Again, we may wick down further to the 15, but again, that's worst case scenario. But I do like this sort of region for a bounce. I think lots would expect us to come down here. Again, in crypto, we tend not to see what the majority want, so I do think we'll get that sort of move down. I mean, on Twitter yesterday, you could see everyone was bullish up here. It was a crowded trade, so that's why I said yesterday, wait till we reclaim these highs before longing. Don't just long up here. You know, you want to be patient in crypto. You don't want to just frame a win and lose your money. Again, you want to have as much money as you can ready for those big bounces. But if we do get that, similar to Bitcoin, if we do get that massive So if we do get that fifth wave down, so I do hope we do, because following that, it's going to be incredible. So you get the AB, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Following that, we're going to be looking for a move minimum 34, just because you've got the wicks appeal again. Again, following that, we are going to see a bigger correction, but again, we'll be shorting up here, ready for it. So there's nothing to worry about. But again, we take the Fibonacci from the high. I'll show you why the high for me is here, not here. Again, it may confuse you, but don't assume the high is always going to be the start of the trend. It's not always the case. But say we come down to 1680. Yeah, it's perfect. So you're looking at confidence with the 618 Fibonacci retracement. The reason here, I don't see that as the final wave for this move up here. So again, I do a lot of edit waves, I do a lot of counts, so I'll show you how I count this. Excuse me. So first wave to me, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this is your first wave. Wave 2, so wave 2 and 4 corrective waves, which are 3. So there are 3 waves. Again, I'll go into detail on edit wave, but basically I count it 3, 3, 5. You've got another 5th wave up here, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your wave 3. Come down for your 4, again you've got 3 waves down. You never, that's not the high. You can't count clearly the 5th wave up. It's just not. That to me is your finish. It's a truncated 5th wave. Again, the 5th wave volume will always taper off. It's just a sign the trend is reversing. 3rd wave generally has the most volume. You can see it's uptrending here. So that to me is not the 5th wave. The 5th wave shows that distribution sort of sides, higher sell volume. You've got the buy volume tapering off. So for me, the count starts from here. So in terms of how would I count this going down, quite simply, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at least one wave has to be extended. In this case, it is the first wave. Wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. For those who'd say, how would I count in the subwaves? Again, I love to teach. A lot of this is in my paid group, so please do have a look. So again, wave 2 and 4 have to be 3 waves each. So you've got a 5. So you've got a leading diagonal here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a 3 wave down here. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that completes the 2. The 4th wave, you've got. Let me double check how I counted this before. So this to me was a combo. So there's a W wave here, X wave here, and then you had. So WXY is a 3-3-3 structure. Sorry, that was X wave here. So 3-3-3. So ideally, I do expect us to come down for one more wave. Again, if we do hold, you're never going to get it perfect, but you look at the triggers to get into those positions. So again, for me, I'm not short right now. I'm waiting, but you can already see it. There's no signs of it slowing down here. Again, we'll see how it goes on for the rest of the day, but we're looking at, when you zoom in, you've got your support zone here. You've got the manipulation, fake out. You always look for wicks in a range. The wicks dictate for me the highs and the lows. You've got wick, 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 manipulation, wick, wick again, breakout. There was your long up to the next resistance point. Again, these moves we all caught in the groups. It was a fantastic week. Purely from price action, nothing told me it's going to do that apart from, news related. It was completely, this was going to happen regardless, just purely from what the charts are telling us. The charts show us human emotion, and it's all about market structure as well, I've said before. So you look, if it's a bullish trend, you look at higher highs and higher lows. First wave here, we failed to get below the previous low back in, was it February? Yeah. So higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we just kept grinding up. So if we start to break below the range, as I expect we do, you're going to see a lower low, sort of below this point, and then you'll sort of look for that lower high to short back down. So if you miss the first move, it doesn't matter. You can always get back in. So don't think you've got a FOMO. It's just the worst thing you can do for your balance. And yeah, volume wise, I mean, the reason we're cascading down without any sort of breaks is the gap in volume. I've said this before. Liquidity voids. There's not enough sort of liquidity sat in these blocks to hold it. A little bounce here just because of this area here. We're starting to move into the high volume sort of areas. I do like to look as well at the fixed range volume. So point of control, I've said before, again, it's like a magnet for price action. So if I had to sort of predict when we sort of get into the range, my first take profit, you're going to be looking at, yeah, about the 1995 region. So again, if we get, it'd be something like this. We get down here, retest the range high, short, stop loss above, we come down to the 1995. High volume again on the right with the volume profile, lots of liquidity sat here. So yeah, to me it's perfect. What we can also look for in terms of liquidity, I think I've showed before, is the heat map. So if I look at Ethereum, hopefully it should line up with what I'm looking at. So again, the 1995 region for a bounce. Let's have a look. Yeah, got a few clusters down there. So you've got a lot of sort of the late, sort of short liquidations building up. So again, we can keep an eye on that. So where's that? That's the two sort of 4 region. So there is still liquidity sat up here, but again, people can put walls up. I'm going to assume it's people that have sort of shorted, sort of, I suppose, late, sort of building up around there. Could be long liquidations up here as well. There's other ways to look exactly what liquidation it is. Again, if you're heavy shorting, for example, you're going to get your stop loss and liquidation points sort of build up. Yeah, I'll go through that at another point. But do have some clusters coming down to the 2000s, sort of lower down. If I sort of go into like the let's say the weekly, I think that tends to show a bit more. Yeah, stacked it. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, so again, you can see much more dense liquidity down to these regions. So again, you've got 2050. Once you start getting past these levels, I can sort of come over here. So 2050 will be into the range. Once you get down there, you're going to fill these gaps and you're going to hit these sort of lower targets. So something to keep in mind. Again, we do have liquidity up here, but again, it's like a lamp that, you know, it's bright, and the late longs up here, you've got the liquidations down here, so you need to keep an eye on that as well. But again, as a trader, we look at the least risk. Anything can happen. We could just reverse here, but as long as you've got your plan of action, that's really all you can ask for. Being stopped out is completely normal. Anyone who pretends not to be stopped out, they're kidding just themselves. To be transparent, I don't always get it right. I can show you, I think yesterday in the week's group, I did short. So for example here, my stop loss was above this wick. I think it was 74,900. We did continue to grind up to it. We did long W. Yeah, we did catch a nice move on that one. First target was 195, and we hit the target which was brilliant. So again, we did have a couple of losses, but the one trade made for that, so that was brilliant. But in terms of Bitcoin, so I decided myself to manually close it. Reason being, look how close we were to taking it out. So for me in my head, that was inevitable. But as soon as I closed that, we started to cascade down. So yeah, maybe I was the reason we reversed. If I stayed long, stayed short. Sorry, we might have continued up. So but the reason I shorted down here is because I noticed the head and shoulders pattern, and it played out perfectly. So again, like I say here, some days that they're like that, we make the wrong decisions. And obviously, if I did hold the short, my original plan was correct. We did lose the support zone, as I said yesterday. If we lose that, short it down, and we tanked. We did catch another good trade though. I spotted this morning the divergence build up on the range high. So I was expecting sort of a move down to the 40.6 region. We did get a move down. It wasn't as quick as I did want. So as we started to shift down, I did start to take profit. Yeah, so we moved down again, more profits. I believe I took out, there's 50% of the position left of the table when it started to come down. As we moved down, I was moving my stop loss. So if we did stop out, minimal loss, but overall very good trade. And long and behold, manipulated and move up to sweep the range high. Then we did tank after that as well. So yeah, please do check out the groups. They are really insightful. I do update them daily. If you want more educational material and I guess more plays, do check out the paid premium Discord group. We've got a great community of people in there and traders. The weeks is different calls, so ideally sign up to both and you'll get the benefits of both of the systems. So yeah, I'll do a couple of altcoin updates for you. So a few of the popular ones, so XRP, excuse me. Yeah, so again, yes, I said if we reclaim this level here to long up, we failed to do that. You sort of look at the reaction. So again, if we did come down, we hold this level here. It would have been long up. We just fell straight through. So in terms of what comes next, again, it's a very choppy range. But what I would look for, it's just the important levels. So look at the reactions. So we're tapping supports. There's something important down here. I mean, right now it's a no trade zone. We're in the middle of the range. There's no trade to be had there. What I would sort of look for, again, look at the wicks. Wick up here. There's an order block here. Move to the left. You can see it all here. So there's liquidity sat here. For price to move, we need liquidity. So again, we've had 1, 2, 3. We need a fourth wave up to then short down. So if we get a test of $1.47, reject, you'll short back below, stop loss just above, and you'll short it down. Targets, yeah, 1.39 down to 1.33. If Bitcoin tanks the new lows, then the XRP targets we're looking at. Again, another example here. Where before we stopped, where do you think we stop? If we were ignore all this here, if you just had this candle here and it was falling, where would you start taking profit? So you've got an order block here. Again, we fell straight through, but you take profit at the top of here. So ideally, 1.51. Next order block is down to this level here. So that's why we bounced, because I was order sat absorbing the sell volume. But I mean, if we drop again, your next sort of area of importance, you're looking at the sort of previous high back in 23, so down to sub $1.86. But And I don't think it'd be a quick drop and it'd be a massive move up, so I don't expect it to drop that low. If it did, it would not be down there for long, trust me. There'd be a lot of buyers in it, myself included. Big fan of XRP long term. Ideally, obviously, I want to try and accumulate more sort of coins. If we do get the Bitcoin, say we did get some sort of big drop like that, we're going to see a huge bounce, 100% plus. And if we get that, again, this is worst case. You know, if Bitcoin went to 40,000 later this year, you'd be looking at XRP. It'd be down to the 65 to 55 region, but that's your generational buy. That'll be such an opportunity. If you believe in crypto long term, XRP should be on your radar. Yeah, Solana. Again, yesterday failed to reclaim the high. No long was given. We fell back in the range. That was a short. We did fail to retest it, so I'm not in any position at the moment. But again, this is all corrective in nature. It's yeah, it's not looking good. Again, you'd expect, you know, if we do get some sort of bounce, I'd expect a bounce down to. You sort of look for a move, so 80, 87, potentially down all the way. Depends on Bitcoin, down to 83. But don't short yet. Wait, you know, wait for the bounce, and then we can short it down later. If you miss the first initial wave, just wait for. There'll always be a counter wave, so don't panic. But you can see this is all corrective in nature. It's never just gonna rocket up. There's not enough fuel at the moment. So yeah, that's my thoughts. But again, yeah, do check out my groups. Leave a comment. I hope I'm sounding more confident. I'm trying to relay my knowledge as best I can, as quickly as I can without talking too much. I tend to do that. I tend to waffle. But in terms of those, just quickly, you do want to learn edit waves. In terms of how would I count this? Quite simply, it's a corrector wave up. It's a 333. It will never be crystal clear, but something like that. I'll do a. If you are interested in learning more edit wave, do tell me, and I will do some more education on it, like the techniques you can use. I've done edit wave for about 10 plus years, a long time, very long time, but. Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for your time, and I'll try and get an update out tomorrow. But keep an eye on the triggers I've shared. I'll be updating all of my groups tonight during Asian time, London time, New York. I'm on 24/7. Yeah, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.